Yes, you are.
Excuse me, we're going to try to start the meeting, or at least we're going to try to start the meeting. All right, good evening. For the second time, November 15th. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Please remain standing. Moment of silence for prisoners of war and men and women missing in action. Thank you. Secretary Billups, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilor Heyman.
Here.
Councilor Blackwell.
Here.
Councilor Andrusko.
Here.
Councilor Sadiq. Present. Councilor Faralia. Here. Councilor Silva.
Here.
President Burke.
Here.
Secretary Billups is here. Councilor Wagner.
Here.
Vice President Tunis.
Here.
Councilor Wentz.
Here.
And we have our officers in the back, and we have the Honorable Mayor Keffer. We have our solicitors, and we have our treasurer, David Heyman. And is Diane still here?
I think she left.
Okay, and we have Alexis. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Rules of meeting decorum. Upper Darby residents have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Residents are prohibited from making threats, using profanity, or acting in a manner that would impede or prevent the conduct of business of the meeting. Public forum should not exceed 30 minutes. 5.0, can I get an approval for the minutes from October 2023, committee meeting October 4th, and council meeting October 18th?
Motion to approve.
All right. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. 6.0, public forum. So we have a list of maybe 15 or 16 in public forum if you already, well, we'll go through the list. So go ahead, Secretary Billups.
Some people I don't see, so I'm just going to say your name, but I know some people aren't here. Nicholas Hoyt. Yep. John. I'm sorry, huh? Yeah. John Rosari.
Good evening again, John Bizzari, 353 Kirks Lane, Drexel Hill. I wanted to address this the previous meetings, but I ran out of time. And this is going back to October, I think it was Friday, October 4th, when Lansdowne Avenue was shut down between Garrett Road and State Road. I did a right to know to PennDOT, and there was no permit pulled or requested to shut down Lansdowne Avenue, which is a Pennsylvania state highway. And my concern with that is that we had police resources where we have a township that is in dire need of strengthening our safety in this township. We had police resources blocking entry to Lansdowne Avenue from Garrett Road to State Road.
John, was that at night?
That was at night. It was the football game.
The football game, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to
And
make
I
sure.
understand why they did it, but there was no permit pulled, again, or requested. Again, doing things not to policy or procedures. So I just wanted to raise that. I believe PennDOT is issuing a letter to the school district and might to the township as well. The other thing I wanted to speak about is I pulled Haverford Township's, went to their website, and they post on their website their entire check register of all checks that have been issued to paid to whom, for what category. They do it again for the GLs. And I think, given that we went to a new system, this should be something that is automatically done for this township. So people can see, without having to request right to knows for bank statements or GLs and things like that to see what's going on. But an interesting thing that I saw on there, because I saw my aunt's name on there, and for ARPA funds, they were given to seniors under a category called Senior Economic Recovery Payment. They allocated funds to the seniors in increments of $500 for, whatever they, I guess, whatever recovery that they needed for the, as being a resident of the township. I'm just curious why we didn't think of doing that for our seniors.
John, Solicitor Kilkenny, you're a solicitor at Haverford, correct?
My firm is.
Yeah, you firm is. Do you know anything about what Mr. Vasari's talking about? I mean, I'm just asking.
I don't.
Okay, I'm just trying to help out a little bit.
So, no, I appreciate it. I just, like I said, I thought it was interesting, but my main point is that every month they're posting the check register and the GL.
John, could you send that link to us that you refer to online? Because we have colleagues in Haverford. They can
Yeah.
give us an idea.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Joanne Namavag.
Joanne Namavong, 133 North Pennock. Forgot half of what I was going to say, so if I'm lucky, it'll come back to me before I sit down. A friend of mine lives in the 69th Street area, and she told me that there has been, and it's been going on for quite a while, sewage backup into the basements of the buildings there on the 6800 block of Market Street, spilling onto the sidewalks. I don't know because I don't live there, but I wonder if someone could possibly look into that as to why that is. Man, I'm so mad at myself. I forgot what I was going to say. So as I said before, my sons are going to move to Broomall because it's a lot cheaper to live there. And rats, I can't remember. I'll see if I can get someone else to say what I was going to say. But I'm not happy about, I'll say this also. The trash, Becky and I were collecting signs the other night from the election, and I was appalled at the trash. You don't really notice it when you're driving by, but it's still there. The median strip, yes, I said that before, Westchester Pike. We were from Highland Park School all the way down to the Dunkin' Donuts and Ivy Rehab Place, and it's just full of litter. Broken glass on the side of the road, trash, it's disgusting. So one of the things that the guy said in the, I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. We're not a world-class township. You keep saying we want to provide world-class services, but like, it's not a nice place. It used to be a nice place to live. I've been here 30 years, but it's just not a nice place to live anymore. We can't walk at night. Got to walk through trash to get anywhere. Got to worry about your car getting broken into or stolen. So I don't know. I'm not happy. So as John said, the sale sign might go up in my street too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilwoman Billups, I just, on Wednesday nights at 9, I have a recovery meeting, and that's why I've been leaving at 8:30 on Wednesdays, and I'm going to leave now. So thank everybody for coming out, and have a good night.
Thank you. I think you guys need to respect that. She has a recovery meeting. Come on. I didn't say that it was. I didn't.
That is not our fault, that she's an alcoholic.
These meetings really shouldn't be going on this long, but they have been for a couple years.
And if you-
So,
and if
good
you
night.
ran the township like you supposed to, this wouldn't be happening either.
Damn peasants keeping us here.
That's enough. Next speak.
The
Next.
next person is Cal Hephill.
Carl Hempel.
Carl. Sorry about that. I didn't see the R.
You kidding me?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Hey, guys. Back again. Carl Hemphill, 27 Pilgrim Lane. Just want to actually congratulate any of the winners that won last week, and I'm sorry to anybody who lost who was expecting to win. But again, I appreciate all your guys' time, always. I really respect your job, and I'm not trying to kiss your butts, but it's a hard job you got. Here's what's going on. You know, I'm in the recycling business on State Road. I create a lot of jobs. I got a lot of guys who have families here that live here, right? So I am creating jobs. I live here as well. I raised my family here. So I noticed when I did the leaf collection the other day in my neighborhood, I noticed, wow, all the leaves disappeared. And we have a lot of trees in our neighborhood over by Chicky and Pete's. And I was like, wow, maybe those leaf trucks are going to come to my yard. They've been coming for the last 4 years to my place to empty them, right? But I didn't see no trash trucks coming in with the leaves. I didn't get the business. I'm like, what's going on? So I learned through an anonymous source that they're going to Springfield. They're supporting one of my competitors in Springfield. And I'm paying Upper Darby truck drivers, paying for the fuel, paying for the workman's comp, you name it. My tax dollars are being diverted to go to a business in Springfield. Imagine that. And my prices are probably I don't know what he's charging, but imagine how you feel. All those leaves got picked up and were taken to a competitor of mine, and my tax dollars are helping him. Think about it. And we're talking about growing businesses in this town. Support the little businesses that are already here, guys, right? That's what we're all about. That's what everybody's been talking about for the last couple hours. Create jobs, keep the jobs here. Why are we sending these trucks out? So I called Nikki Palmer. That's the only contact I have. I even called Joe Martin. Joe didn't call me back. Nikki did. He says, well, now we're weighing the material. I know there's no scale over there. I think he's misinformed. And I said, Nick, if you are weighing the material, I'll figure out a way. I got my solid waste permit. I'll take the material, I'll put it in my truck, and I'll go weigh it. But please, don't insult me, taking my money, doing it right in front of us. We spent a ton of money legalizing that place. The prior administrations tried to put me out of business. This is going back to 2006 and 2011. They tried to put us out of business. I got $2 million in iron sitting on my yard. $2 million. And I got loans on that equipment. Okay, how am I going to pay for it if they're giving the money to my competitors? Please, let's be serious. Let's help these small businesses. Please help us out. I got a lot of properties here, and I'm going to keep paying you taxes. I don't mind paying, but don't insult us and say we're going to give you business and then send those trash trucks to Springfield, a very wealthy town. And then look, and I'm going to have to pick up the pieces, and I got to compete with a guy who's much larger than me, but there's no safety issues with our facility. I got other townships coming in. I got Ridley Park. I got Lansdowne. I got big trash trucks coming in. I heard a little rumor that our yard's not big enough. It's big enough. My 18-wheelers are 60 feet long. A trash truck's 30 feet long. Please, guys, let's work together. Support the little businesses. You get the money back through gross receipts. Am I making sense? Do I make sense?
Yep.
Do I make sense? What do you think? Officer, do I make sense?
Mr. Hempel,
All right.
Mr. Hempel, just send
All right.
that email to acting CIO Dobbins and
Please.
the mayor and see if you can, I'm
Leaf
sure they're the ones
leaf
to make
season's here.
the decision. So.
I just need some business. I hate begging for work. I really do. I hate begging.
I think you should call and make an appointment with the new mayor coming in and sit down and
Please.
and talk
What?
to him.
Yep.
Well, it's under $20,000. There's no bid.
So,
It's under-
so, Mr. Hempel, why don't you call the office, why don't you call the mayor's office and see if you can set up a meeting with the acting CIO or the new mayor over the next couple of weeks. So,
Can a phone call be made to Mr. Martin? Please divert the trucks.
Mr.
please?
Mr.
Please.
Martin is only the director. He's only the director. Everything goes through the mayor.
Where do I go tomorrow morning? I'll be there.
Come to the office.
Which place?
You know what? Just send an email and see if you can get an
I'm
appointment.
not really good with technology.
Hi.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Call the office and try to get an email. Try to get a meeting. That's all.
I just
Just let it go.
I just want to say that I didn't know they changed the company
It's-
of where the leaves were going to. I just want to
He
say
does,
that.
he's not 100% sure, so
If
just,
it's not coming to him,
okay, you're positive? All
then
right,
it's not, then
I'll tell you. I will.
I'm just saying that it used to go to him. We promoted
Just let it
that.
go. Next speaker, please.
– 129 North Pennock Avenue, Becky Duggan.
Becky, move the mic down.
Ooh, there you go. Hi, Becky Duggan, 129 North Pennock Avenue. Just want to, really quick, want to start, Hafiz, last week you said to me in a private little meeting that you can get a Nissan Leaf for $10,000. You can get a 2012 one for $10,000. They cost upwards of 30 grand. And we've been paying people, I can't afford a $30,000 car. I live in Upper Darby, and I have to pay a lot of taxes. And we've been paying, people have been allowed to charge their electric vehicles for free. You can't get a cheap electric vehicle. All right, so also I'd like to make a comment that, the mayor left. I understand she had to go to a meeting, but this is a hard job. And if people don't want to do it, don't run or resign. Okay? I know it's unpleasant to have us come up here and yell at everybody. But if you weren't trying to throw taxes down our throat, we wouldn't have to get up here and yell at you. Speaking of the new tax, apparently you're going to try and bargain police officers for that. So if we're going to get, let's say, low at $9 million, okay, apparently 5 new police officers will cost about 870 grand. That means 10 new police officers would be 1.7 million, which would leave you with about $7 million left for your little fun money. Why can't we get 10 officers? Because I'll tell you, living in this township is expensive, and crime going up is only going to make people's homeowners insurance go up, which is going to make it even more difficult and more expensive to people to live here, because your homeowners insurance is going to go up. Because who wants to live in a crime-ridden neighborhood? Who wants to buy a house in a crime-ridden neighborhood? Nobody. My next topic is on the website. We still are putting out there the new community center. It's right on the homepage of the website, the dead community center that's an empty field that we wasted, about $300,000 on for the architect. How many people have to pay the 1% earned income tax to make up for that $300,000 that could have been in the fund? How about all the money that was stolen from the township? How many people are going to have to pay the 1% income tax to make up for the money that was stolen? Anybody? How many people would have to pay? $300,000, that's average household what?
Becky, the 1% income tax, earned income tax is going to pay for the shortfall of the community center.
There shouldn't have been a shortfall. All of your fault. What? You can talk to me. It's my time, you can talk to me.
I'm not sure where he got that from because I haven't heard that. And I'm on council just as he has. And if there's information you're not sharing with us,
Next, really
How's she
quick.
gonna do
I'd like
with
to
the
ask,
$10
I know
million?
all members of council and department heads are required to sign an ethics code. I want to know why Allison Dobbins wasn't required to sign one. A right to know was put in to ask for all of the ethics codes, people that had signed it, and there wasn't one for her. I know you all signed one,
So
yes?
did you get an answer? Did you get an answer to the right to know, or you said you put it right?
We asked for all of them, and they gave us them, but it's not hers. They said, this is all we have.
Solicitor Marcini, Solicitor Kilkenny, you have an answer on that? No. But the right to knows go to you, correct? I mean, go to your firm? Okay. When was this right to know? And when did you receive all the right to know answers except one? Okay, so.
That's what she forgot to ask.
So at this time, Solicitor Kilkenny, council would like to have that answer when you can get that answer. Yeah, when you can get that answer.
I know
when you
she's-
get back to the office. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know if she's going to continue in the position. I don't know who the new council will pick, or the new mayor will pick, but, she should sign one before the term is out, perhaps even tonight. Unless she can't sign it. Thank you, Becky. I don't care. I'm tired of people stealing my money.
Money isn't stolen. Next is Olivia Taylor.
Olivia Taylor, 204 Kent. I literally got a headache. First and foremost, I don't feel sorry for someone that's literally just about to put people out of their homes. The fact that she has a drinking problem is not our fault. You understand? They have AA meetings all day, every day. You do not have to pick the meeting the night that the residents come in to speak about what you have done to use your alcoholism as an excuse to run out. Sorry, I don't agree with that, especially when they have them all day. So don't ask us to feel sorry for her, because I don't, okay? Not at all. I have empathy for anybody with addiction. I have family members with addiction, but they have yet to, put people out their homes. Millions and millions of dollars are missing. 41 million in ARPA funds on top of the revenue you generated from the taxes, and yet we're in the hole. Wintertime is here. I spoke about this a couple of months ago. We have no salt trucks. What is going to happen? Winter is next month. Pause my time until somebody answers me.
Nobody's here to answer that, Ms. Taylor.
So what's going to happen to us? What is happening to this township? I look at, if you take away the R from Tom McCosey, who ran this township for 9 years straight, we've never in the history of Upper Darby Township had this. Look what she's done to this township in 4 years. Look at this township. Look at what's happening to it. And you got the mitigated gall to sit there and want me to feel sorry? We don't even have any snow plows, and winter is next month. Whether we get snow or not, we still gonna get ice. What if the fire department gets a call? What, they gonna 4-ton trucks slide across the street? What about the school buses? Parents going to work, taking their kids to school. What's gonna happen to this? Am I the only one that sees this? What's going on here? And then we find out the senior home that was shut down, we have a 10-year lease and paying for a building that we can't use. And then Vince, the other slime ball that destroyed this township, he's like a bad itch that just won't go away. And I'm just up to here with all of you. No salt trucks. The fact that she's talking about 5 policemen, how many, what, for the past 3 years? Because if she was going to hire 5 new officers, they would have been here by now. Where's the fire truck? What happened to the new fire truck?
It's on its way.
It's on its way. Are we supposed to get 2 more?
So the one on engine 36, it's on its way. It's getting painted, and I think it got pushed back till sometime in December, and the other ones, I don't know, 36 months out, 2 years out. But, the money has been allocated for the other truck. So you'll have 3 new trucks over 2.5 years. So that's all I can answer.
Okay. I just have a headache, and I just know what's coming and know what's about to happen to people who have no idea, who blindly went in there and voted. And you know what, folks, I feel sorry for you. And for those of you at home listening to this, you're about to get hit. We warned y'all that they were going to do this, and it's coming. So hopefully next year you still have a home, and don't come in here complaining. I'm done.
Thank you. Next is John Damasi.
Good evening, everybody. John Damasi, 706 Stanbridge Road. I know I talk about the school district and what's going on there, but I want you guys to please take into consideration the financial aspect of what's going on here and over at the school district. If you move ahead with this 1% income tax, please be aware. And I know you're aware because you hid this fact in your campaigning. The school district is trying to put in, on top of all the other tax increases, a $110 million bond on top of the already $90 million. That will bring their debt, which is our debt, okay? Because you guys all impose taxes on the same people that pay the school district's taxes. This is all intertwined. I don't think anyone will disagree with that. That will now be $200 million of their debt on top of us, on top of your tax increases, on top of your earned income tax increase, on top of their income tax, their property tax increases over and above what's going to have to go to pay for that bond issue. You were all aware of this because you were managing their campaigns. No one ever said anything about, hey, how are we going to be able to handle all this debt? How are we going to start being able to handle if their credit rating is downgraded? That means our credit rating is downgraded. They have to start paying more interest. More interest has to come out of our pockets to pay that on top of what's going on here at the township. So you really need to start coordinating with the financial disaster that's over at the Upper Darby School District. If they build another school, another elementary school as they want to, that's going to be another $65, $70 million of bonds that are going to have to be issued. They're going to be up, and when they're up to around 275, 300 million, if they stay on budget, that means that's all shouldered by us, the residents of Upper Darby. That should be theoretically restricting your ability to levy taxes on us and increase debt because it's all serviced. Their horrible financial decisions are going to impact the Upper Darby credit rating when they go and look and see when Moody's or S&P looks and says, what is the current debt currently borne by the citizenry, not necessarily just the township. So you really need to get that into your heads that it's not just what you're doing over here. It's what's happening over there too, because that's happening to all of us also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Patrick Daniel. Okay. Sean and Gina Flatt. Okay. Tim Farrell. Kim. Okay, thank you. Amy Sullivan. Lee Jordan.
I'm still here. Lee Jordan, 90 Pilgrim Lane, Drexel Hill. Well, the first thing I want to start with is I want to thank Carl Hempel and his company, Delco Mulchin. What, is it something else? Yeah, he's not. So he took the initiative to clean up Dermont Circle, which is the township's responsibility, which is in front of Pilgrim Gardens. So he came last Tuesday and he had 3 of his employees and they cleaned up the circle and they made it really look presentable because the circle is a gateway into Upper Darby Township too, when you're coming from Havertown. So, you know, a big shout out to Carl, but also what you heard tonight, not only from Carl, which is we have, you know, Billy Santoro has a business here, Barbara Boucher has a business here, Tim Farrell has a business here. They have businesses in our community and they live in our community and they employ people who live in our community. So I want you all to think about this when you go into this earned income tax, if you decide to pass this. And also I was thinking somebody in the township or somebody on council should gather up all the businesses and in our township and put them on the website or put them out if you communicate with your members about, you know, keeping it in the house, right? Supporting our local businesses and the employees that work there. Because I think that's just, you know, something that we should do. And I do it, I still come down to 69th Street and go to the H&M here. Because I'd rather go here than give King of Prussia my money. So, I mean, that was one thing I was thinking about. And communications, you know, we can talk about the township not putting up, you know, things in a timely manner, but you as council members, you also were elected in your districts. So it's also your responsibility to go out and tell the community members that you represent what's going on. This tax is a perfect example. I know that there's things that go out on cleanups, but you should go out there and be telling everybody that this tax is coming down and that they should, whether they're for it or against it, they should show up on November 29th or let you know how they feel about it. because that is really what your job is, to communicate to the people who elected you into office. And the last thing, of course, I always like to thank our police officers and our firefighters and all the service people in our township, but also Judy, Becky, Joanne, and John, okay? They come to these meetings and they do their research. They have their binders. They do it on their own accord just to keep us informed and sometimes probably you informed of some things. And, I just like to thank them for doing that because it's not, you're not getting paid. You're doing it because you love the township that you live in. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Next is Khadijah Sabir.
How we doing? Good evening. Most of the issues were all talked about, so I'm just going to keep this
Can I have your
simple.
address, please?
Excuse me?
Your address.
Oh, 139 South Fairview. First, I want to start off with a story that happened yesterday. I went to the Wawa here on 69th Street, and it was a few homeless people out there. A couple of them got inside the store. I went in there minding my business. I usually don't say anything, but one of them crossed paths with me, and as soon as he did, he spit on the floor. Yes, he did. Right in front of me. And I could not help myself. I had to say something to him. Why would you do that? And you know what his response was to me? I don't give a F, and neither should you. And I'm like, why should I? I should care. This is my community. Okay? So, after hearing that story, and you might be thinking like, well, that's a Wawa problem, but in all reality, it's a community problem, and it's a disrespect to our citizens. You know what I mean? So, and I also was here back in September to address the poor cleaning conditions in the community, and now I'm back 2 months later to reiterate my point. We have filth and litter in the community, just as well as she just pointed out, okay? And it's only gonna bring more people who disrespect our community, people that's gonna keep saying, I don't give a F, spitting in stores, littering, doing all kind of things. They're on 69th Street. I go to H&M a lot as well, and I can't walk on 69th Street without someone selling me drugs. They just wanna sell me drugs. It's like ridiculous. I don't even smoke, but it's like, it's just out of control. The shootings are getting out of control. One of them happened so close to my house. I live in the 4th district, by the way. I heard the whole incident go down. The one when they were trying to break in someone's home, it was the prowler, he was shooting at the cops. Listen, 69th Street, Ludlow Street, it's just filthy. It's like filthy. Like, I don't understand. It's like, if I could be observant, then so should you. You should be walking around your districts, being observant, finding out what's going on. The filth, that is just uncalled for. Like Upper Darby it's done a whole 360. And also the one center, that's not working. I've talked to constituents, my neighbors, they're telling me they haven't heard back from people in weeks. I've actually contacted the one center and it took them weeks to even contact me back. I had to go to someone personally, then she went to the superintendent. He did give me a phone call and told me, you could just call whenever you're having problems, but it's still going on. My neighbors, first of all, it seems like I live next to a loading dock. They have big pickup trucks. You hear the beep, beep, beep all night. It's about 5 guys that live in there, no women, so it's a bachelor's pad, basically. They're having parties all night till 4 o'clock in the morning. And another thing, I actually did call the police, and one of them, I couldn't see his face because I'm up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm a producer for a major TV network, so I'm up doing work. And I seen the police approach these guys 4 in the morning and say, oh, a neighbor called, and if you guys could just keep the noise down. It's 4 in the morning. You need to tell them to go in the house. They shouldn't be standing outside smoking, drinking, and causing all type of corruption. So we just need to get it together. That's my whole thing. So I'm just keep it short.
Next is Kyle McIntyre.
Kyle McIntyre, 1040 Drexel Ave. I have props tonight. So don't worry, nothing bad. This is actually good for once. So the other night, the Mural Arts Program, we had our first town hall feedback meeting for our proposed locations for our wall murals. I brought the actual location, so. These are the initial locations that we're looking at. As you can see from a majority of those locations, we are looking at 69th Street Terminal. We are looking at the Legion Post. We are working there. There used to be a mural on the one building on mural location 2. I think it was for a Catholic school at one time down on South 69th Street. That location is one of the prospective mural sites, as well as, hold up. Yes, Upper Army Beverage on Marshall Road. So we are collecting community feedback. So there's a QR code here. I mean, I don't have these in like a full format, but I'm going to leave the poster boards here. We are encouraging the community members to submit their design ideas. There are some general. Oh, sorry. Yeah. There is a QR code, and we will be circulating it on social media. We just haven't done it just yet. You can fill out the form online, give us your feedback as to what you would like these murals to look like, what you want incorporated in them. Yeah, and basically our timeline is from November to December, we'll be doing the community feedback. From December to January, we'll do the actual design. And then by late January, early February, it'll go back out to the public for an initial final confirmation, and then we'll move forward.
Kyle, are you going to leave them in the one center or no?
Yeah.
I mean, for people that come in throughout, I don't know.
Yeah.
Vice President Tunis, go ahead.
Yeah, Kyle, I got to attend the event a little bit yesterday. And we did, I didn't think I was going to see Mr. Santori here. So I would think it would be great if you guys at least had a conversation on, especially he has one of the most modern buildings in my district. And it's ultimately up to them. And I hate to put you both on the spot, but I did mention to him yesterday, I didn't expect you to be here today. So I think that would be a great candidate if they're open.
Of course. Look, there's always going to be the chance to submit more walls. This program is not going anywhere. This was the initial startup, but we're going to continue this year after year. This is our first round. These are the walls that we think objectively we can get it done in our budget by the summer. But obviously there will still be an opportunity for more and more walls, and each year we'll continuously open up the process.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Brian Taylor.
Good evening, Brian Taylor. My address is 7258 Landport Road. I am the founder of Taylor Made Vets, a veteran 501c veteran and veteran family organization. I'm going to be brief and to the point. Our next monthly veteran hybrid meeting will be held November 24th at the American Legion Post 214, located at 6914 Chestnut Street. All meetings are always hybrid because we realize people have lives. Sometimes you can make it to certain places and sometimes you cannot. My main question is really a thank you to Ms. Wagner, Ms. Billups, and to Ms. Dobbs. I came here, I say about a month ago, and I asked for a letter of recommendation from the council. And you were the three people who actually responded. I want to say thank you because this is something, I don't like using the word I, but that we take very personal and that we dedicate our lives to. But I would also like to ask the other council members who did not respond, is there something that maybe as a nonprofit veteran organization, you think that we can imply into our working to make are things better? Oh, pause time.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to. I was focused on the budget.
I'm
No.
asking the whole council. I know, I was looking at Mr. Simpson.
So, Mr. Taylor, are you looking for a letter from everybody, or did you look for?
No, I came to a prior
Yeah,
meeting,
yeah, I understand.
asked for,
letter.
asked
Yep.
for a letter. The council told me that they wanted an overview. I submitted the overview. Ms. Wagner, Ms. Phillips, and also Ms. Dobbs also answered for the township.
Yeah.
This is not based off of emotions. I would like to know what we can actually do better, because since no one else from the council responded to the letter.
I honestly forgot.
And it's just an honest question.
Mr. Taylor, when you asked the question, and you stated it just now, so I think I interpreted correctly, you asked for a letter of recommendation from all of council.
Yes.
So I apologize. I was under the impression it would be like something that everybody signed.
Okay.
And it was run letter that would be coming from President Burke. And we can roll back the tape. I may be wrong, but I do believe there was a promise that came from leadership around that. I'm not sure on the details, but if I remember correctly, I don't remember. I could be wrong. But
Remember you asking everybody to
Yeah.
send a
So
letter. I forgot.
And that's why I was happy to we were actually happy to receive a response from Ms. Dobbs that answered for the township.
Yeah.
And I understand that everyone has time. I'm asking more in a perspective in what can we do to actually improve?
Well, Mr. Taylor, I believe any event that's been taken, that you've had at your, post, that some of us or most of us tried to get there and support that. And, I'm sure on council or off council, we still will support that. Getting a letter from acting CAO Dobbins, is the full support of the township, along with
Yeah.
Secretary Billups and Councilwoman Wagner. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know here, up top here, even Solicitor Kilkenny has supported the post in the past last year. Okay, I'm sorry, you're talking about, yeah, okay.
I'm not
Yeah,
the post.
Yeah, I know, you're right.
That's why I
Yeah.
kind of broke the
Okay,
question down,
so,
even
yeah,
though
so-
I love the post.
Yeah, so,
That's why that's why I kind of asked for ways that maybe that, I'll give you an example. We all live in the community.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look at different people's perspectives to see if there's something missing that we're not doing. So maybe I didn't explain the question good enough, but that's what I'm really looking for.
well,
That's it.
we have each other's numbers. I'll give you a call this week, so.
Brian, I just want to apologize. I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. I was planning to, but the
Yeah.
only, I don't have any recommendations. I mean, I think what you guys are doing is great, and it's not a reflection of that. It's just,
Thank you.
not making it. I mean, is there a deadline, or is it?
That deadline has came and gone, but the way I work is I'm always working, and we always want to improve on what you're doing. So sometimes you have to actually ask for a different set of eyes to gain a different perspective on things that you want to improve.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, Brian.
No. Mr. Heyman?
I apologize. I didn't provide.
No, I'm not really looking for apologies. This may be something you think that we might need to do that we're not doing. And that's just having, like adults having conversations. No, actually, it was to actually conduct a behavioral health program along with a food insecurity program for those who, especially with the raising prices of food, to make sure that they have enough food to feed their family. When you deal with behavioral health, unfortunately, with everything that's been going on, there are not enough outlets for everyone, so we want to actually create an additional outlet. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. And
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
everybody have a good night.
Thank you. I'm not sure if these two people are still here. Martha Manning and Barbara Bashir. I think she's gone too. Okay. All right, thank you, and that's it.
Third Phillips. So that's N 6.0, 7.0. Mayor Keffer, she left. 8.0, it's 9 o'clock. I think I had enough to say earlier. So 9.0, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Council President Burke. You should have a copy of the report. So there's 5 parts to the report tonight. We're going to talk about the cash balance, our change in revenues and expenses over the course of the year, the current state of the real estate tax collections, an ARPA fund summary, and I'm doing a forecasted cash position through the end of December because we're going to have the decision on that TRAN or not coming up. I've included 3 supplemental reports to this, a budget status report summary for October 31st, the ARPA summary, and the forecasted general fund cash balance. So the cash balance report, unrestricted general funds were at $27.1 million currently. This is a decrease of 7.8 since for the prior month. ARPA accounts, $29.3 million. Restricted accounts, 1.8. Highway funds at 3. The sewer fund at 1.2. We've moved some money into the sinking fund to handle some upcoming debt obligation of $270,000. A little bit of money in the payroll accounts, and capital projects has $2.9 million in it. So as of the 31st of October, total of all cash accounts for the township was $65,747,291.50. Year to date, cash balance is up $17,286,000. To get us through the rest of the year. All right. Change in revenues and expenses. There was actually an item that's been booked as a revenue, but is going to be paid out over 5 years. So there's a caveat on the report that I'm not including that in the cash balances because that's already earmarked for a specific expense, although it's not a restricted account. So year to date, we've received $77,627,857 in general fund revenues, with expenditures of $59,038,189. So it's an $18,589,668 cash flow surplus. So we've collected 96.11% of our budgeted revenue and expended 77.29% of our expense budget for the year. As the majority of our revenues are real estate taxes, I'd just like to point out we've collected 97.91 of our budgeted current real estate taxes for the year. Let's see. The ARPA fund report for September, it says September 30th. It would be October 31st. That's a typo. Total ARPA funds appropriated since July 2021 is $32,971,245, with an additional $8.5 million released to the general fund for lost revenue over the last couple of years. So of the original $41,761,939 that we've received, $290,694 remains unappropriated. Year to date, $31,116,848 in ARPA funds were appropriated.
with $5.8 million expended. So that means that $25,292,051 were appropriated, but they are not encumbered at this time. The total bank interest on the ARPA funds is $1,353,455 since July of 2021. I'm sorry, this year. Since July, it's $1.879 million. And again, a reminder for anybody who's listening to this for the first time, the interest earned on the ARPA funds is unrestricted general fund revenue, does not need an appropriation for use. So the year-end cash forecast, I'm forecasting end of the year at $10,301,197. That apparently is I spoke to Diane before she left this evening. She was saying that they're forecasting somewhere around 13 to 11 million. So my number is the most conservative number that I've heard so far. So I'm a little more comfortable with that because I've been burned by that projection in the past. Let's see. We have about $1.3 million left to collect in revenue and about $18 million left to expend. That includes a $6 million pension funding obligation that the administration plans to take care of in early December. And that concludes my report.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes?
Nay.
Nay.
9-2, approved. 10.0, committee reports, Finance Appropriation Committee.
So can we get a reading on ordinance 3145?
Good evening. I'll give you the reading.
Okay, can you turn your
Turn
mic
the
on?
mic on.
Good evening. I'll give you the reading.
Is your mic on, though?
Yes.
Okay, couldn't hear you.
This is ordinance 3145, an ordinance of Upper Darby Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending ordinance number 2879 and chapter 489 taxation to consolidate and amend fees for business and mercantile licenses, repealing all inconsistent ordinances, resolutions, or parts thereof, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date. Should I read all the whereases? Or just skip to the, you want all the whereases?
Skip to the meat and potatoes.
Thank you, I will. That would be Article, it looks like Article 7, Business and Mercantile License, for the year beginning January 1, 2024, and for each year thereafter, beginning on January 1, every person desiring to continue to engage in or hereafter to begin to engage in a business, a trade, occupation, or profession at an actual place of business in the township, or B, either regularly or on a temporary, occasional, or itinerant basis, the business of wholesale or retail or wholesale and retail, vendor or dealer, or as a peddler, solicitor, or off-street retail seller of goods, wares, and merchandise, and any person operating a restaurant or other place where food, drink, or refreshments are sold in the township shall on or before the 31st of January of every year or prior to commencing business in such year, make application with the Director of the Finance Department for registration for each place of business in the township, and if such a person has no actual place of business within the township, then one registration. Such registration shall be made by the completion of an application furnished by the Director of Finance Department and shall be accompanied by a payment of a fee in the amount of $50 for each place of business. Each application for registration shall be signed by the applicant if a natural person, and in the case of an association or partnership, by a member of the partner thereof, and in the case of a corporation, by an officer thereof, or by a person, an authorized person of any other legal entity. Each applicant shall receive a certificate of registration from the Director of the Finance Department, which shall not be assignable. In the case of loss, defacement, or destruction of any certificate, the person to whom the certificate was issued shall apply to the Director of the Finance Department for a new certificate for which a $50 fee shall be charged. Such certificate shall be conspicuously posted at each place of business within the township at all times. This also contains a repealer and a severability, and is effective immediately.
Thank you. Great. I'd like to make a motion to introduce and advertise ordinance 3145.
Second.
The first and second, any questions?
I'm gonna ask. I think we had this conversation before, controller and director of finance, Colleen. I think we had this question before, controller and director of finance. Are they the same thing?
No.
Okay.
So the ordinance says Director of Finance instead of Controller or acting.
Or acting,
Does it matter?
yes.
No, I don't think that it matters.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the question. President Burke and I
Good
were
enough.
just having this conversation, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, thank you. Twenty-six, 23 resolution?
Yes, can we get a reading of Resolution 2623?
Wow. Let me put my. All right. All right. Now therefore be it adopted hereby resolved by Upper Darby Township Council that Upper Darby parking fee schedule is amended as follows. A, municipal parking lot number 1, Garrett Road, motor vehicle parking. $1 per hour, $7 per day, $70 per month. B, municipal parking lot number 2, Westchester Pike, $5 per day, $65 per month. Municipal parking meters and parking kiosks, 25 cents per 20 minutes, $6 per day to rent or block off a meter. Municipal parking lots and kiosks located in the Chatham Lot, Fairfood Lot, Jones Lot, Sansom Lot, and Wellington Lot. There is no fee established for motor vehicle parking in the Long Lane Lot. D, use of township electric vehicle charging stations, including parking and/or charging, $3.50 per hour. Yes, it's getting late already. Are resolved and enacted this day in council chambers.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2623.
Any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Last week, I was parking in the lot over here, and the machine didn't work.
Is that the solar?
The machine doesn't work often, is what I have been told.
So what do we do?
Is that the one run by solar?
It's the one right out here. It's the kiosk lot out here.
I parked in a lot, and the machine didn't work. I did not.
Or, I mean, because you're right across
I
from the
did not.
township building to
But
go to
it's
the
really pressed.
parking department and tell them that the kiosk is not working.
This is a Saturday. That's the only reason why I didn't do it.
Okay.
So it was a
Okay.
Saturday.
Then put a note on your car that the kiosk is not working.
Yeah, well, I was only there for like literally about 2 minutes.
Okay.
But, and I was.
Ticket. You did, didn't you?
I did not get a ticket. I did not get
If the town.
But no, I was literally there for 2 minutes because I was picking up food.
Okay.
I shop in Upper Darby because I was picking up food.
If the township building is open, I believe go to the parking authority and let them know that it's not, that the kiosk is not working. Otherwise, I would put a note in your car. And
right.
take
Well-
take a picture.
Take a picture and send it in.
Send it in
Yep.
to the one center.
All right, first and second. Go ahead, Councilman Silva.
Okay, sure. I just have, okay, question one. So for the monthly parking, is that like a permit thing?
I think it's a space. I think it's a number space they give you.
They rent the space.
Yeah, like a permit. Yeah. But I think you're supposed to park in a certain number space too.
Is there any time where the parking fees do not apply? Because it's not really listed in here, like, I mean, I don't know, for instance, like Sunday overnight or something.
No, so over on this part of town, I believe the meters are 7 days a week, and certain parts of the township are not 7 days a week. I believe Garrett Road is 7 days a week. I believe Fern Boulevard and Garrett, right past Garriford is only 6 days a week. So there is a discrepancy in the meters throughout the township
But
And
those
I don't know
signs
if
should
it's
be
about the,
posted.
I don't know if
Should
it's
that
about the
be
business
listed
districts
here?
or some other areas.
I think it's listed on the meters
It's
themselves.
listed on the meeting, yeah. But there are
Okay.
some 7 days a week, some 6 days a week.
Okay, but it's as described on the meter.
Yes.
Okay,
It's a
but it
sticker.
doesn't have to change this resolution?
No.
Okay, all right.
Councilman
Thank
Satya.
you.
So what's happening with the Long Lane parking lot? Any plan for that one?
This is just changing the fees.
Long Lane in District 6. District 6.
This is just changing the fees. I don't know if anything's going, I guess you can talk to Allison or the parking department. What's it?
There's no fee established for motor vehicle parking.
Oh, that one. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not affecting. Yeah, yeah.
It's just free.
It's one by the community center.
Still free.
Yeah, need to be better maintenance.
Yep.
And I would like to talk about the, since Sunday, the parking enforcement is not implementing any ticket or anything. So if we can advertise it, just proposal, think about it. We can talk, discuss it later. That Sunday, if we make it free parking and advertise it, so it could increase our business, increase revenue in the township. Even it's 7 days, but there's no ticket system. Nobody working on Sunday for the ticket.
There's definitely people working on Sunday. Trust me. I've received phone calls over the last 2 weeks about getting tickets on Sunday.
Also,
And I asked where it was and I didn't know it was 7 days a week there. So there are people working 4 or 6 hours on Sundays.
based on signage in their neighborhood, they're just like doing their job, like, right? So if
Yes,
they,
yeah.
they see a sign or.
Yeah, they're doing a job. I mean, there's, permit parking Saturdays and Sundays, they're out there doing their job. Yep. So,
And also, I would like to make a propose that before Christmas, make 1 day free parking for the shopkeepers, so people can come and they can bring some more revenue and they shop around in Upper Deep Township.
send that to all.
Yeah, which is like a Philadelphia town.
No, I know.
Nothing to do with
So
the
we
resolution
can
on
talk
the-
about that.
Talk
We
about
can
the
talk about
parking
that. Yep.
department next.
Yep.
All right.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you. No, that's
So next is
28, 23.
27, 23. Can we get a reading?
Sure. Now therefore be a resolve of the Upper Darby Council hereby adopts and resolves the following. Upper Darby Township Code, Part 2, Chapter 290, fees are amended as follows. 290A3, construction or repair of sidewalks, curbs and gutters, permit fees for inspections, $60 per application fee, $20 for each $1,000 of estimated cost or fraction thereof. 293B2, repairs, alterations, fire, restoration, additions to private dwellings or duplexes, 1 or 2 family dwellings, porches, porch enclosures, patios, private greenhouse sheds, residential uses, decks, garage, carports, in-ground pools, and private swimming pools. Application fee $60 for the first $1,000 of estimated cost or fraction thereof. Additional fees $20 for each additional $1,000 or estimated cost or fraction thereof. UNO $40. 293B3, roofs and siding, residential. First $1,000 of estimated cost, $60. Each additional $1,000 of estimated cost, $15. Commercial, first $50,000, $75 per $1,000 of estimated cost. 2, above $50,000, $15 per $1,000 of estimated cost. Solar panels and electrical generation, residential, $500 for combined solar and electric. Commercial, $75 for the first $1,000 of estimated cost, $60 for each additional $1,000 of estimated cost. 293B4, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, residential, first $1,000 of estimated cost, $60, $25 for each additional $1,000 of estimated cost. Commercial, first $1,000 of estimated cost, $100, $35 per additional $1,000 of estimated cost. 293B6, new commercial, industrial, multifamily hotels, motels, or any other buildings not previously covered. A, repairs, alterations, and additions to commercial buildings, including public utility, amusement and recreational buildings, motels, hotels, multifamily buildings, radio towers, and all structures not otherwise classified, underground and above-ground tank removal, dispensers, demolitions, and sprinklers. First, $1,000 of estimated cost, $50. Two, $30 per additional $1,000 of estimated costs, $15 per additional $1,000 of estimated costs. Cellular phone towers, flat fee, $3,000. 290B8 electrical permits, residential. First $1,000 of estimated cost, $60. Two, $15 per additional $1,000 of estimated costs. B, commercial, first $1,000 of estimated cost, $75. Two, $15 per additional $1,000 of estimated costs. Contractors, license and renewal. Apprentice or journeyman, $25. Now we go to sign permits, 290E1, sign permits. Fees are determined by the type and construction cost of each sign and shall be as follows. A, ground wall, window, projection, canopy, awning, and face change per location. First $1,000 of estimated cost, $75. Two, $30 per additional $1,000 of estimated cost. Billboards, roof or ground, first $1,000 of estimated cost, $100. Two, $25 per additional $500 of estimated costs. F, 5-year sign certification for billboards, roof signs, projecting, and freestanding signs, $200 per sign. 290E3E6, zoning hearing board's fee schedule. Variance of special exceptions, except as otherwise set forth therein. Residential, $750 for up to 2 reliefs. Commercial, $1,200 for up to 2 reliefs. More than 2 types of relief, $150 for each additional type of relief. Variance for private swimming pools, fences, decks, patios, and sheds, $550 for up to 2 reliefs. Miscellaneous fees, fire alarm systems, horns, strobes, and pole stations. Permit fee, first $1,000 of estimated cost, $100. Between $2,000 and $50,000, $30 per $1,000 of estimated cost. And then above $50,000 estimated cost, $15 per $1,000 of estimated cost. Carnival permit fee, $100 for each 7 days of part thereof. 11, expedited permit fee. 1, residential, 1 day, $600. 2, 5 days, $300. Commercial. B, 1 day, $2,000. 2, 5 days, $1,000. The Upper Darby Township Code, 550, Section 550, 39J. Fees
We're
as follows.
powerless.
Sorry?
Sorry, apologize.
Okay. Fences, J. Fees. The application fee is determined at $40 plus an additional $20 per $1,000 of course or fraction thereof. Enacted today in council chambers. Brian Burke, Council President.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 27-23.
A first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No.
Okay, so next up is Resolution 28-23. Can we get a reading?
Sure. Now therefore be it resolved, Upper Darby Township Council, 1, Upper Darby Township hereby requests a statewide local share assessment grant of $1 million without matching funds from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for Upper Darby pedestrian bridge safety improvement project. 2, Upper Darby Township of Delaware County does hereby designate Barbara Ann Keffer, Mayor, as the official to execute all documents and agreements between Upper Darby Township and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to facilitate and assist in obtaining this requested grant. Adopted and resolved this day in council chambers. Brian Burke, Council President.
I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. I have a question,
Go ahead.
but we need a second first.
Yeah.
So Mayor Keffer's not going to be the mayor as of January. Is that going to be a conflict that
Maybe
she's
we can
named in it?
put Mayor Keffer and or her successor, just to adjust it that way.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't,
Or the mayor of Upper Darby. Let's
I
keep it at
say
that.
designated mayor of Upper Darby, I think is better.
Yeah.
Then that way,
Mr. Brown could sign it.
right, right. I just don't want us to put ourselves in this situation.
So a first, second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay.
Okay, next up is we have a presentation from the Finance Committee on a proposed different version of the budget. So just give us a second to set up. We'll make it as quick as possible.
Go to Harry Potter World or something? There you go.
Can we hop out of that for a second? Just to see. Okay.
Like a Harry Potter. Yeah, it's like an LED.
Okay, yeah, go back in. I just wanted to see something. Sure, I'll just introduce us. Okay, so I just wanted to thank everyone who stayed.
Makes some sense. You never know when you need something.
Oh, we're not. Oh, but President Burke? Okay. So I just wanted to thank everyone. I realize it's been a long night so far. The Finance Committee has been working really hard on a different version of the mayor's original budget. And that's what we have for you tonight. I just realized that there might be a couple numbers that need to get fixed. And then there's something that's also missing, but we haven't had a lot of time with it. So we were working really hard. I'd like to thank Councilman Andrusko, Treasurer Heyman, and Councilman Silva and Councilwoman Wagner and President Burke for their assistance in this project. We've been communicating regularly on it. So I just wanted to do that. And then you wanted to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Wentz. Just want to be very blunt to the facts of what I see as the realistic scenarios for this township. I think there's really three. We can make no changes to our revenue sources. We can make no cuts to our expenses, which probably leads us on a path to Act 47 and bankruptcy. We could implement an earned income tax as is being proposed by the mayor at a great expense to our residents, as we heard a lot tonight, which I think could lead to very bad repercussions for this township and potentially an exodus of residents. Or the third thing is I think we can take a really deep look at our budget and try and cut as many expenses as possible and have a modest real estate tax increase and work, as residents said, to find new income sources. And that's kind of what the Finance Committee is taking a stab at here tonight. I think I speak for the whole Finance Committee. We want this to be a collaborative effort moving forward. We've done our best. Obviously, I'm sure not everybody's going to agree with everything, but any constructive criticism from here is welcomed. And I hope that we can work towards some sort of goal here together.
Thank you. And also, we have talked to the Diane from the Finance Committee or Finance Department about other avenues of revenue. So there are things that we have put out there, and we can bring them up later. But I just wanted to put that out there as well. So go ahead. Okay, so this is highlights of differences between the mayor's original budget and what we provided for the Finance Committee's budget. We did reduce some funding in the CAO's office. We did reduce the solicitor and professional services. Professional services suddenly appeared in this budget all over in multiple locations, which was a little concerning. And we realized that it covers Galante for Mike Galante for engineering. We don't have a township engineer. So one of the things that we added was an engineer in the L&I realm, which didn't make it to the list. But we also, we included 5 new police officers. There's vacancy of 4 police officers already built into the mayor's original budget. So it would be 9 new police officers coming in, which would, pretty close to a number that people have been mentioning. We also restored funds to the Shade Tree Commission budget. We Also added funding to youth programs in the recreational department, and also a little bit more into the summer stage. It was originally 300,000 prior to this year, and the mayor's budget had reduced it to 200,000. We bumped it back up to 250. So just as a generalization, and we did. We'll go through it a little more fine tuned, but there were places where, because on the budget, it was July 12th was the year-to-date actual. So I compared the September year-to-date actual to the numbers, as well as once we got October's year-to-date actuals, I was using those, and I double-checked the September ones. I found that some line items we were already over, or we were going to be over. If you divide it by 9 or 10 and then multiply it by 12, we would be over. So there were some line items that we added a little bit more in to make sure there was coverage for the next year, assuming that they were doing similar things. And that's like office supplies, printing, other supplies, things like that, smaller line items. So I just wanted to, and Nicholas Hoyt asked about the miscellaneous 98,000. That's contingency, is the majority of what that was. We eliminated it for the 2023 budget. We eliminated it in 2024. There are certain realms that got put in there that it's hard to track. So by eliminating it forces it to be a more specific line item. But that's where I think professional services came up as to fill that void. And then we also have $57,577 left over overall from the budget from the tweaking that we had done. So you can go to that. Oh, and there is no earned income tax in this budget. We did keep the mayor's original real estate raise. 5%? 5.35%. Okay. Okay. So the revenues remained the same. So nothing changed between the mayor's budget and our budget on the revenue. It's the exact same. The mayor's original, the mayor's original budget this does not include any increases of anything. It's the same revenue lines. Next. Oh, did you want me to read through it?
No, I don't want you.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking, so everything.
So,
You want to speak to?
so Laura, we have the ability to share that with other people
Yeah,
after tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the PowerPoint will definitely be able to be shared to Alexis,
Right,
right?
yep.
And then she can put it up on the website under
Okay.
council.
Yep.
Okay. And we'll be getting more documents out there as soon as we get them finalized.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, did you want to talk more?
Yeah, I'll speak to it.
Okay, go ahead. We're just tag teaming.
Just regarding the changes on this slide here, you'll see at the financial administration line, there's a $150,000 roughly increase. We are proposing to add a finance director back to the budget at a base salary of $150,000. In regards to the solicitor fees, the proposed budget is $442,000. We are proposing cutting that to $300,000. Mr. Kilkenny, it's no slight to you or your firm, but I spoke with the prior administration, the prior solicitors, and between the prior solicitor and the attorney they used for collective bargaining and everything like that, most years they were not in excess of $250,000, $260,000. I understand we have a retainer with you. I understand you do other work for us, but for a municipality in our current financial circumstances, I think allotting $442,000 is just way in excess. So our recommendation as a finance committee is to take that down to $300,000. And lastly, on this slide, you'll see CAO, you'll see a reduction of $186,000. We did include the increase of the CAO salary to $150,000. That is down from the original proposed of $165,000 from the mayor. We also are recommending removing the position of deputy CAO and the intern for the CAO. Now I understand this is a complex municipality. We are very large. We need somebody very qualified for this position. We think $150,000 is a salary that can attract somebody for that kind of position. I think if you have a strong CAO and strong department heads, we should be able to accomplish what this municipality needs. So.
Yeah, you're good. As far as to address license and inspection, that was the engineer increase, plus we did license and inspection is going on, sorry. We also did some other readjustments in the line items, so sorry. Okay, so now going to police. So as I mentioned, there were 4 open salaries within the police that were at a higher level. It was at the level where the officers themselves had actually left, and that's in the, where's this guy? So in your handout, this Excel spreadsheet shows that when the officers had left, they had left at a higher rate. Diane had kept that rate in. We put them in at their collective bargaining rate of a new officer. And we used some of those funds from those 4 salaries to help pay for the new officers farther down, as well as added more funds in to pay for those new officers. So that's where the police come from. So that would give us 9 new police officers. In the mayor's original budget, she did have 6 firefighters. The salary that they had was actually off of the wrong total, so we corrected it. We felt that there is a need for more firefighters, but we felt more comfortable with starting with 2 firefighters this year, with the hopes that next year we would add another 2, and next year another 2. But to add the police officers that we needed and a full complement of 6 firefighters at the same time was too much. So we were trying to find a balance in that. And then, sorry, just trying to, and then I did say L&I. What? Okay, was there anything else you wanted to? Okay. Okay, next slide. Sorry, I'm having problems seeing it. Trash collection, the $1,000. That was it was an addition. There was something that was not going to have enough to cover it, so we increased it by $1,000. Yes, it was in the. I'm sorry, I just not. Which number? Oh, sorry.
Vehicle maintenance for public works.
Okay. Yes.
This year was budgeted for 0. Next year was budgeted for 1,000. We're just adding an additional 1,000 in there.
For vehicle maintenance. Right. Okay. All right. I'm having problems reading it. It looks great on your screen, but I love your colors, don't get me wrong. All right, so then next up would be, sorry, so the 1,000, the trash. Okay, so in Public Works, right? Okay, so in Public Works Administration, we made an $8,000 decrease, and, sorry, I wasn't on that. Public Administration. So yes, so we reduced professional services by 10,000. We added 500 into the rentals and lease, and 1,500 into office supplies. The thought process was that they were low, either they were low as far as the year to date, or that with rentals and lease, depending on what the winter may come, we might need to rent some things that we don't currently have in hand. So we were making a little wiggle room in that. I did highlight it. And then the next one is Public Works Vehicle Maintenance. We decreased professional services by 11,000 to 45,000. And then the next one was parking enforcement, parking facilities. We added 4,000 to supplies, and we added 7,000 to other services. Because of parking enforcement, with all the ordinances, the fees changes that we just made, they're going to have to get new tickets to indicate the new fees and so forth. So we wanted to make sure they had the funds to do it. And then on cultural creation, total Parks and Rec. So changes, we decreased professional, am I there? I'm sorry, did I hop ahead? Okay, professional services by 27,300. We increased the scholarships for the summer stage to get it at 250,000 instead of 200,000. The youth program, we have it at 150,000 for the youth programs out of the recreational department. And that's where the 172,000 came from. And then for parks and maintenance, we added, we basically restored it to 2023's level of 20,000, which increased it by 6,900 because they were really close to having spent the money by the end of the year. And then other equipment, we increased it by 3,000. And then we added Shade Tree Commission back in at 20,000. Previously, the Shade Tree Commission in 2022 had a $5,000 budget. The thought was that they would be able to do more than they had before, but the administration ended up putting all tree-related maintenance and so forth into that budget. So when the Shade Tree Commission went to actually do something, they didn't have any funds to do it because it had been used previously. So at 20,000, there's a chance that if that happens again, they could still also do things specifically. There were some projects they wanted to do and they couldn't do it because there were no funds. And then total of admin COSA, right? Yep, okay. So office supplies, we added 330 because they were close to going over. And then other supplies, we added 2,500. This is also part of COSA. So this is part of the senior center. So this is the Watkins Senior Center. So we were figuring that they would need more supplies if they did more programming for the seniors. So we wanted to make sure they had better funding for that. As a side note, we did create a budget for the Drexel Hills Senior Center. I'm sorry, I didn't have it together fast enough for today, but we will have it at our next meeting. And that would go under the ARPA ordinance itself, the allocation, the bank line for that, those funds. And then on miscellaneous total, so, sorry. $100,000 of contingency we took out. We added 20,000 on postage because we were almost over the 140 that had been 140. We were almost at that point. Also figuring that postage prices were going to go up, so we wanted to make sure we were Not going to have a problem with that. We did decrease consulting fees by 15,000. And then we decreased contracted services by 3,655, which is what gave us the 98,655, with a $57,577 left over. Yes, sorry. So questions? Yes, Councilwoman Farrelly.
On here with the hiring of the police salary, you have on there 66,374. What about their pension, their health insurance, and all the other stuff that gets added into there? Where's all that money?
It would probably come out of that 57,000. We didn't have those percentages. The FICA did get allocated for the FICA tax and so forth. So that did get taken care of. That's a really good question. We did not have those numbers to break down. So we'll look into it.
Yeah, regarding the benefits for the police officers, so there's a whole list of those things. The big one, of course, is the pension. And keep in mind that the way the pension is funded, the actuaries determine on a year-by-year basis how we need to fund that liability. It's based on a number of factors. It really isn't affected in this budget for those new officers. So that would be effective in the next actuarial numbers that we would get for the following year.
With their health insurance and all that stuff, life insurance.
Yeah, well, that is factored in here. We did some calculations based on the anticipated payroll, absolutely, yes. And the life insurance, the health insurance, and of course, the FICA.
Yeah.
As well, Councilwoman Farrelly. We realize as well, there's additional costs aside from just the salaries as well. We have to put in for equipment, uniforms, every other thing like that. So like I said, this is still a working budget. This is kind of just our first presentation on it, but we are aware of these other costs that we need to factor in as well.
Wait, and actually, sorry, just to point to that, we did not decrease anything in the police and fire budgets of their individual line items. The only thing we adjusted were as far as the hiring of individuals. Right. I think there was wiggle room already in their budget. But we'll definitely investigate that, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, Councilwoman.
Thank you. So, COSA and HUD, how did you come to those numbers? Because isn't it a grant that we get and that they set that amount? How did you come to those numbers?
So I mean, if it means that we can't add to their budget, they were on the verge of going over. So when I looked at the year-to-date actuals for October, we were either already over or about to go over. So it's a good question. I was just.
This is money that they give us, what I'm saying to you, right?
Right, but
So-
but I think there's a match that we do.
No, it's a grant that they give us. It's not a match that we do, because HUD is, well, you know what HUD is, right? HUD is Housing and Urban
Right,
Development,
but then
right?
there's
So-
got to be money from us. This is money from us that's going to the senior center. This is not.
Not from COSA.
All right, well,
Not
I
from-
will.
Not from what I know. I mean, if there's something new, then it could be new,
Okay,
but
well, it's only $3,030 specifically for that realm that I added. So if it can't be done, then it can't be done. We'll get clarification on that.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
If you can just clarify that.
Sure.
Yeah, HUD and COSA.
What, COSA?
HUD and COSA money is money that we get from, it's a block grant, right?
Right.
So it's not money that we dictate. It's money that they give us, right? It's the community development gives us. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay, we'll definitely check into it.
Yeah, so the grant numbers, the grant revenue, that would come in and be booked as revenue on the top line. So whatever the administration has anticipated in terms of revenue to pay for that COSA would be built into the revenue budget. What we're talking about here is what the planned expenditure is, the offset of that grant revenue. So the source of it, whether it be out of grant money or taxes collected, is factored in to the budget.
I hear you. But that's not how this reads. So if I'm giving you, I'm just saying the amount. If I'm saying that, if I'm COSA and I'm saying, you know what, for this year on that block grant, I'm giving you $5, right? And you're saying, okay, but my budget is going to be $10. And I'm like, no, but I'm only giving you 5. That's all I'm saying. So I'm asking you, where did you get these numbers from?
I got them from comparing the year-to-date actual, dividing by 10, because it was October. I took the year-to-date actual, I added in if there was any encumbrance, right? So, because in theory, encumbrance means it just hasn't been paid yet, but it's been earmarked, right?
Right.
So I added the two numbers together, I divided by 10, because it's 10 months, and then I multiplied by 12 to see what we would need to get to the end of the year. And if it was close to, if it was about to go out of budget, or it was already out of budget, I added a little bit in to cover us. So if COSA says, no, we can't do that, then we'll remove those funds. Then obviously we have to do a better budgeting, but we also have to feel like, if, well, I'm going to stop there. So that's where my math came from.
I got you.
So
I got you.
we can get some clarification on it. Counselor Heyman.
I have a couple questions. So eliminating the 4 firefighters, the 4 positions, I had understood that we were hiring 6. We're still hiring 2?
Right, we're still hiring
Okay.
2.
So where did we come up with a justification for that?
Finance Committee had concerns about hiring all 6 right away when we knew that, so for council, we passed a resolution request for the 5 police officers. So that was really on our forefront to make sure we had that covered. The 6 firefighters was something that came in new at the department head meeting. And so it was something that just newly showed up. It hadn't been mentioned in any previous meeting. No one brought a resolution to us on hiring 6 new firefighters. So we wanted to, the thought process was if we could at least get 2 through right now and then 2 next year and 2 next year, then we can get the 5 police officers that we had passed a resolution requesting to happen.
So I guess my question is, our overtime budget has ballooned in the fire department over the last several years. My understanding was that hiring 6 officers was to try and decrease some of the overtime that we've been spending. Obviously, we've had to cover when there are holes in some of our volunteer companies, unfortunately on weekends, obviously not at Garrettford, but in other places. And so my understanding was that was to offset that. I see no change here in our overtime, projected overtime budget. But I also know that we have a number of firefighters. I'm not sure how many offhand. I'm aware of at least 2 who are in IOD and others who are not returning over the next year or 2. If those people leave, or even if they don't, just hiring 2 more, I'm confused how you came up with the calculation of the same projected overtime despite not hiring 6 officers when that number was calculated based on us hiring 6 officers.
That's a good question. I did not necessarily do the projection on the overtime, but I do believe that 2 officers would help to reduce the amount of overtime overall.
I'm not
But
contesting that 2 officers might help reduce it, but there's no
I didn't
change.
finish my sentence.
Okay,
I didn't
well,
cut you off, did I?
Okay, I'm so sorry. Continue with the talking about it.
So thank you for pointing that out. I did not do those calculations, and I will look into them. We said it's a working budget.
Understood. It just doesn't, this is like a multi-million-dollar oops, potentially. I'm just kind of confused about that. I'm going to move on to my next question, if that's okay.
Sure, go
ahead. Counselor Andrusko, you said
After
that
you,
the
sir.
solicitor made how much in previous years?
My understanding in conversations was a rough annual figure was around $250,000.
Okay.
That's not accurate.
It's not accurate. I pulled the budget. Yeah, yeah, that's not accurate. And also, if you adjust for inflation, it was budgeted was 325, but if you adjust for inflation, we're talking 400,000. But you're actually returning that. This is from the previous administration to 300.
Holston and McNichol.
Yeah,
And you'll see.
it's
If you guys have them, that would be great. I would love to see them.
I've seen them in the past. They're like in the 600,000 range. So I guess my question here is, I mean, the 300,000, obviously, like, we're looking to save money, but, we could get a lawyer right out of law school and have them be our solicitor for probably a great price. I don't know that they'd be great quality. I don't know if you pick a surgeon based on their quality. I understand you may not agree with Solicitor Kilkenny. That's fine. I understand that. Or you may not appreciate his services, and that's fine. You have the right to do that. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying I don't know that this was thought out. It seems like it wasn't, based on some of the other comments from Councilor Wenz. The CAO, did you speak to the mayor-elect about his vision for what that is?
No, not yet. I have not.
But we calculated a pretty substantial cut. I mean, the 150,000, I think, is closer to fair. I mean, depending on what more you consider market rate. Our municipality is obviously quite large, but it's lower income than, say, Haverford or Radnor. In Haverford, their township manager made over $200,000 last year. Dave's a great guy. He deserves every bit of it. And I'm not questioning that, but I'm just suggesting that it might be worth talking to our mayor-elect about his vision for the CAA's office before trimming its budget. Again, unless that was the intent.
If I could just respond to you. So, I mean, I know last year we had a working session with members of the Finance Committee and the administration where we kind of went through and discussed these things. And like we said, this is our first budget presentation. These are our first recommendations. These are a working session. To the point, just going back real quick to the fire department, because I just want to address that as well.
Yep.
I have the utmost respect for our fire department, for Interim Chief Boyce. And yes, we did discuss the overtime, bringing them down. And the common theme for my answer to your questions, which is also for this, is in a perfect world where we had the funds to do all these things, we would. But realistically, looking at the constraints that we have, I think we made the judgment that while it would be great to have 6 additional firefighters, public safety with police is more pertinent right now. So we made the decision that we thought 5 police officers at this current moment was more necessary than 6 additional firefighters.
I understand that. I've had 3 homicides in my council district this year. I believe it's 3, but I've also had 2 fire deaths, at least in my council district as well. I think that we can, as I've said at the beginning of my first year here, that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I understand that you respect our firefighters. I have no question of that. But I don't think this is about respect. I think this is about logical processes and what's going to happen if we do one thing or another. I'd ask that you guys go back to the drawing board. I think that it would be fair to consult with our mayor-elect about his vision for that office. He may well agree with you. I don't know. But I would suggest speaking with him. There were my concerns in our last meeting were that a budget hadn't come from the Finance Committee, or that there had been no, apparently if you failed to meet, as I recall you said, Councilor Wentz, that it wasn't that there was a failure to meet, but that we were in a holding pattern to see who the next mayor would be and then attempt to trim the budget. Now, I know in the administrative year that we can reopen a budget in January. And I mean, with all due respect, if this budget isn't fair, I think that's what should happen.
I actually, thank you to Treasurer Heyman. He cranked out the numbers as far as, we didn't change the overtime for the firefighters. So the math of what the administration originally had, so that was included, okay? So that comes out to, right, 21,676 per firefighter. So the fact that we didn't change that overtime number and only incorporated 2 firefighters, then the overtime's in there. It's in there by over $86,661. So there's plenty in the overtime realm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that math equation, because that seems a little bit fishy to me.
Well, he did the math. So anyone else have questions? Anyone else from the Finance Committee want to say something?
No. Nope.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much. We are going to need a budget hearing on this budget. Can we schedule it for the 29th at 6 p.m.?
Sure.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Andrew. Can we take it off speaker? I mean, if you don't mind. Well, we're all on, actually. you know. Thank you, Councilman Driscoll, Councilwoman Wentz, and Council. 11.0, old business.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody on old business? Okay. Anybody on new business? Councilman Tunis. Vice President Tunis. Yeah. Solicitors report. Colleen.
I would defer to Solicitor Kilkenny. I think we have no report.
No report?
No.
Get a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, third.
Sadiq, Councilman Sadiq, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?